Okay, I just received my shipment of David Beckham's new IM8, the newest member of the supplement industry, kind of head-to-head versus AG1, kind of trying to replace all of those multivitamins and different sort of supplements that you're taking all in one drink. I've got the new welcome pack. Let's see what we've got inside. First thing I also want to tell you is I'm in Canada and the shipping is crazy fast. From order to ship, I think I got it in 3 days. That's amazing. So the first thing we have is a pretty fancy shaker cup, sort of like a la Stanley cup style. Quality seems really nice, and we've got an additional, looks like 5 travel packs here. Okay. I've got a nice, well, maybe kind of oats, okay. Anyway, here's my little container. Now this one is not required to be in the fridge, so that's a difference here. So we've got that, and I've got my spoon, my measuring spoon, and if I dig a little deeper here, I've got my IM8. So I'm really, really interested tomorrow morning. Right after the gym, we're going to do the first taste test and see what it tastes like. I've read a few things online. People are saying earthy, almondy, which I'm going to tell you doesn't really appeal to me too much. All right, it's time for day one, and let's go with our initial impressions. All right, the setup looks pretty nice, but I'm interested in the taste and in the smell and how it's going to go down. So let's pop it open. It just looks like kind of brownish, beigeish kind of stuff. And let's give it a good inhale. Oh, okay. I gotta say, that smells really, really good. This is not any kind of grassy, greeny kind of, no, it smells like, almost like a candy, but berries, maybe like dried berries. Very, very slight, almost raspberry, cranberry, dark chocolate. It smells kind of heavenly. Just from the instructions I read, it says put the amount of water if you want it more diluted, not as strong flavor. So it's really kind of up to you. So I'm going to pour that into my fancy cup. Let's see how it mixes. I'm going to take the lid off just so that we can have a look. Oh, okay, so look at this. It's nice and kind of frothy, creamy on the top. I like that. Other drinks that I've had are really just flat and dead. So this is appealing to me. All right, this is not what I was expecting based on the notes that I've seen that they say earthy. For me, I don't get anything earthy here. I get more like the vitamin water, but not unpleasant, not sweet, a tiny bit tart. I don't like things that are sweet or artificially sweet. And from what I understand, there isn't any, even stevia in this. I'm not finding any aftertaste. I'm finding it quite smooth. And I have to say, on my very, very first kind of swig, I really like it. I could see myself really liking it. It's not something that you have to get used to. It's kind of a familiarish taste in a really good way. All right, so I'm just down to the bottom, and you can see that I didn't fully dissolve everything. So there's a little bit of sandy graininess at the bottom. Maybe I didn't give it enough of a shake, so we'll try that again tomorrow. And so that was just one little thing. The dissolving, maybe not perfect, or maybe I just need to give that more of a shake. So what is IM8, and what's it all about? Well, launched in November of 2024, IM8 is a collaboration between David Beckham, the David Beckham, and a team of world-renowned scientists in a group called the Prenetics team. They are really unbelievable. We have an oncologist from the Mayo Clinic. We have the former lead scientist from NASA. There's a preventative medicine specialist from Yale Griffin, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. These people, this is really front-end loaded with scientists. In fact, if there was a cocktail party and Andrew Huberman was there, he would not be the smartest guy in the room. So what does IM8 stand for? Well, IM is you or me. I am strong, I am confident, I'm healthy. The number 8 symbolizes balance and infinity and our continued desire for our personal growth and fulfillment and well-being. This promises to replace 16 different supplements targeting 8 key areas of our health: energy, immunity, cognitive function, our digestion, our cardiovascular health, hydration, nourishment, and cellular renewal. IM8 contains 92 different ingredients, all listed on the label. This is not only going to replace our multivitamin, but also superfoods, our pre, post, and probiotics. Going to replace our greens, fruits, adaptogens, electrolytes, CoQ10, and MSM. One of the interesting things is you don't have to take it in the morning, and it doesn't need to be refrigerated, so you could just chuck it in your gym bag if you wanted to have it at another time. Now, you can take it with food, and also you could take it on an empty stomach. It's up to you. They do recommend that when possible, it's best for the absorption if you can take it with food, just for the bioavailability of everything that's inside. The vitamins that are fat soluble, like vitamin A, K, D, the CoQ10, those ones really react better if you've had some good healthy fat in your diet with this, like your avocado or your olive oil or whatever. And the other minerals like magnesium, etc., that are water soluble, that doesn't really matter. So when possible with food, but really any time at all. At 20 calories per serving, 4 grams of net carbs, and less than 1 gram of naturally occurring sugar. This is also suitable if you are an intermittent faster. And they're saying on the website that this is not breaking your fast. So that's a really big bonus for a lot of people. IM8 is not certified organic, but it is NSF certified. So you're safe sports-wise as far as any kind of testing or any kind of substances. It is certified for that. I feel like I'm really well poised to give you an honest review on this, as I have been taking AG1 for about 2 years. That said, this review is not going to be a comparison. This is not going to be bullet points of AG1 versus IM8. I just want to review this as a standalone for itself. And you know what, if you're interested, I could probably go on to that in a future video telling you my pros and cons of the two. I just want to talk about this and how I feel about this product itself. The first thing we're going to look for are, of course, maybe some allergic reaction. Am I going to have any kind of skin upset? Is there going to be, anything that all of a sudden is really flaring? Along with that, of course, one of the big things that we're all worried about is our tummy and our digestive tract. How are we going to fare with that? Is there going to be bloating? Is there going to be digestive upset? Speaking of the possibility of allergic reaction, they do guarantee that we are gluten-free, shellfish-free, dairy-free, tree nut, peanut-free. So if those are things that are considerations for you, that can give you a little bit of put your mind at ease. Going to the gym really early, it's 6:30 a.m. and I'm going to try it on the empty stomach and just see how the tummy reacts to that. Here we are, 1 week in, and let's check in and see how we're doing. Well, first things first, I had to order another pack because then Paul wanted to taste it and he thought it tasted delicious, and then Will came over and he wanted to taste it, so then I gave him a dose, so I'm not even going to have enough for my 30 days. So another package is on its way. But how have I been doing a week in? All right, well, I still really, really like the taste. You know how sometimes things can get a little bit cloying, or you thought you liked it on the first impression, but no, I really do like it, I enjoy it, and I think that I will continue to enjoy the taste of the IM8. There is one little tiny thing that I'm not too thrilled about, and that is the dissolvability. So As far as this, which came in your welcome pack, I think it's you know what, because we all need like one more to go cup, right? I don't think this is the greatest thing to be drinking this out of. The lid's is not the most wonderful. It was like a freebie, so like never mind about it. I think that they were way better off if they were going to give you a shaker cup, because I've actually had to go back to my AG1 shaker cup, but I prefer this by far. Now on their website, they show a glass and it's just sitting there looking like this pristine little glass of dissolved powder, and that is not the case. So that brings me to my one very first thing that is not amazing, and that is the dissolvability is not perfect, which is why, again, I like the shaker cup. I do also like the foam, but if you're not shaking it a couple of times throughout your dosing, there are a lot of particles in the bottom. So if you think that you're just gonna mix it with a spoon and it's gonna be fine, it's really not, because what I ended up doing, and I need you to come and take a little bit closer look at this, is I ended up having to eat some of it at the bottom, because it does, you know, all of the chelated things in here are not really dissolving perfectly. Okay, let's move along. A couple of the things that I'm quite interested in is a couple of the different things that have been put into the IM8 that I hadn't had before, but I have been interested in potentially adding to my supplement regime. And that is the CoQ10 for heart health. And there is 100 milligrams of that in the supplement. And not that we're doing comparisons, but that's not in the AG1. The other thing is MSM for joint health. I've had to ease back on the running and have kind of pulled myself back a little bit, even from Orange Theory, because I find that I'm getting joint pain in the knees. Some people might just say, well, that's, you know, SGO, Nancy, sucks getting old. But you know what? Let's see. Maybe the MSM is going to be helpful. Now, I would be really remiss and kind of a liar if I started telling you all kinds of positive things that I've noticed after a week, because come on, who's going to notice anything in a week? But what about the things that I didn't notice that actually are positives? Okay, well, I'm not finding that there's any aftertaste, which I think is great, because you know what? Having something and then really tasting it, or tasting it an hour later, that is not good. What about a potential of a tummy upset? Is there an over laxative effect? No, I have not found that. I've not found any bloating. I've not found any stomach discomfort at all. Another part of the supplement that I'm interested in, and was not something I was concerned about before, is the electrolyte complex. I recently joined a hot fitness, oxygen yoga and fitness, and I am sweating profusely, and I am not a sweater. So all of a sudden, the electrolytes might be beneficial to me, and that's, you know, containing the magnesium citrate and the potassium citrate and calcium citrate and calcium phosphate. So that is something, again, also not in AG1. That's it for check-in for day 7, and I'm really enjoying it so far, and cheers to IM8. 30 days in, what is my impression? What are the things that I love, and what are the things that I think, maybe they can work on a little bit more? Okay, number 1, without a doubt, taste. It tastes great, and 30 days later, I still think it tastes great. Number 2, it's convenient. And it's easy to take. You can put it in your bag. It doesn't have to be in the fridge. And that is a big plus. Number 3, the thing that I like is that you don't have to take it on an empty stomach. With food or without food, and I did try both so that I wanted to see if I was going to feel not so great taking it without food like you do when you take a multivitamin, but I did feel fine. So I like that. Along with the fact that you can take it on an empty stomach is the fact that it's not breaking your fast. So a lot of people that are doing intermittent fasting, and maybe they don't want to eat until noon or whatever, but you're going to the gym early, you want to take it, you can, because carbs are so low, no sugar, and so it's not breaking your fast, and that's a big bonus too. I like that, and only 20 calories. So again, check, check. Okay, the 4th thing that I like is this replacing a multivitamin? Hell yeah. It's a multivitamin and a whole lot more, and maybe a whole lot more of things that I wouldn't necessarily buy individually. So this is certainly multivitamin on steroids. I don't know that I should say that in a natural product, but you know what I mean. Okay, the 5th thing is Sure, it's expensive. Like these kind of one drink things are expensive. But overall, I would have to say that it's quite cost effective if you're looking for, a variety of different supplements to improve your health overall. In that way, it is cost effective, because if you were to go and buy the probiotics and to buy the different electrolytes and you add that all up, I think it's going to be significantly more expensive than getting it all packed into this one drink. Speaking of the extra things that maybe you don't want to have to go and buy, the sixth thing that I really like is the probiotic. I didn't even know that there was such a thing as postbiotics, but the prebiotics, probiotics, and postbiotics. And a lot of these all-in-one supplement drinks do not have the probiotics in them. And that, for me, for gut health, is very important, and it is an expensive component. So if you are buying probiotics separately, that is a significant outlay. Number 7, okay, you know what? The customer service. They have been fabulous, very responsive, really, really friendly, on the ball, and they're really listening, and you get a real person. It's not just like a chat bot or something. You get a real person, and you can explain to them, and they're really friendly and seem very responsive. Although when I get to another part, you're going to think, Nancy, did you just contradict yourself? But I really don't think so. The 8th thing that I like is the scientific backing. And you know what? I'm kind of a science nerd. I like knowing that there's actual research going into things, and that it's not just, Aunt Millie on Facebook saying, hey, this thing works really good and you should, mix this in with your oatmeal or whatever. I really like the scientific backing, and they've done a lot of research, and they continue to do a lot of research. Okay, let's go on to a few things that maybe I think could do with a little work. The first thing I have to say, and I have mentioned it throughout my 1 month, is the mixability. It does tend to settle at the bottom. It's not fully dissolving, and you really have to mix it up. They really missed an opportunity by not saying blend it like Beckham, because you know what? You really do need to blend it like Beckham. So that, for me, is a little bit like you really have to kind of guzzle it down, because it does settle. And if you think for a second that you're going to mix it in a glass and set it on the counter the way they have it on their website, that is not happening. You're going to spoon the bottom into your mouth. Yeah, you might have noticed that I'm in one of my old AG1 cups here, but it mixes a lot better, which brings me to number 2, actually. The cup that they give you in the welcome pack, like, what is that? They need to give you a shaker cup. That other, like, travel cup for hot drinks or cold drinks or whatever, that's not cutting it. That is not going to be for this, because I've already found that the best amount of fluid is only 250 mils or 1 cup. So that giant take-around stainless steel mug, no, get rid of it and get a proper shaker cup, because that's something that we're going to use. The third thing I find is that on the website, when I'm looking like at the frequently asked questions and stuff, there's a bit of confusion. Like, they have these 2 different products. They have the IM8 All-in-One Daily Supplement, and then they have the IM8 All-in-One Anti-Aging Supplement, and it's very confusing. I don't know why they couldn't have just come with a little bit more different names, because I find it completely confusing, and I often have to go back and say, which one am I taking? I don't know am I taking the longevity one, or am I taking the overall health one? Like, what was all that? Okay, so back with the customer service. One tiny little issue that we've had. This is my very, very last package, because you may recall that when I started, then Paul wanted to try, Will came over, and then he wanted to try. So I was already 3 days of my 30 down. Then Paul decided that he wanted to actually take a subscription too. So we called in to the most lovely lady and said that we want to add another subscription, and we need to up the subscription delivery, because I'm not going to have a full 30 days. Well, this is the last pack of the 5 additional that they gave us, and I have not received my other shipment. So there's a little bit of work that needs to be done on the subscription thing, so that we can get things without having an interruption in me taking my supplement. Okay, so final thoughts. Am I going to keep taking it? Yeah, hell yeah, I'm going to take it. I really like it. I'm really enjoying it. How do I feel? Well, I feel great. I mean, is it because of IM8? I don't know. I think you know what? I eat well. I exercise all the time. I don't smoke. I don't have a lot of bad habits. Does this help? Does it add? Sure. Why not have, one more thing, a tool in the toolbox? And, this is it. I was already taking, some kind of a all-in-one and everything. But is this going to be everything for me? I'm still going to add a couple of things for me. That being living in Canada, I'm going to probably take a little bit more vitamin D. There's 1,000 in here, but we don't get that much sunshine, so I'm going to up my vitamin D. I like to take additional magnesium and also the omega-3. I'm going to still take that because that's not quite covering it for me. But that, I think, is, you're individualizing there, and I think that's important. This is a wonderful base for us. And then if we feel that we need a few extra things depending upon our own lifestyle or our own health goals, then hey, that's great. So that's what I'm going to add. So finally, you might see that I think this is pretty great. And there's no code. I'm not selling it. There's no code, mama, nothing like that. I'm just telling you, after 30 days, I'm really impressed, and I'm going to keep taking this. And where does David Beckham fit in this whole thing? Well, I think David Beckham is really just the window dressing, and he was a pretty good choice, I think, because he's an athlete, he's a celebrity, he's an influencer, he's known worldwide, not just in North America or in Europe. And, and I think that makes for, a good kind of branding person to be there because, he's athletic and he has all of those things. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll keep up to date. You know what? Let me talk to you in another 6 months and tell you what I think about it then. But in the meantime, IM8, I really like it, and cheers.